So, I don't believe so that there is any problem. But you see that today I checked the essay. In fact, that among like 15 or 20 students are there. So, in all those students, sometimes language is good, but exact demand of the question is not fulfilled. A question inherently has some demand. So that demand is not fulfilled. Two, most of the students don't write proper introduction. This is the problem which I find. Proper introduction is missing in almost all of the cases. Second, that break. What is break? That there is no coherence between different paragraphs. And in fact, sometimes the coherence within the paragraph is also missing. Okay, so lack of coherence. So these are the two major problems which I found. Now, how to address this problem? Okay, just let me give you a metaphor for essay writing, that how to approach the essay and how to write the essay. That would be organic and empathetic. Now, I believe that most of you generally see the movies. Huh? So, before watching the movies, what interests you or intrigues you, that you form a judgment upon the trailer of the movie, isn't it? So, trailer is one of the most important point because of which you watch the movie. And after that, once you start watching the movie, there is a narrative building. You generally try to create, the director generally try to create the character out of it. He introduces the character. Okay, so that is the part about narrative building. Now, narrative building, as it is essay writing, so you see that there are two perspectives to it. First, you have to understand the statement which is given. So, understanding the statement, that is something called interpretation. Interpretation. Now, how should you write the introduction? So, while writing the introduction, you see that you asked about antithesis, isn't it? So, how to present an introduction, how to formulate one introduction in which there will be certain paradoxes. Paradoxes is very important to understand. What is the meaning of paradox? Contradictions between two goals, whatever it is, and a resolution of which is not easy. So you see, while writing the introductions, what we generally do is we try to highlight only one of the aspect. So how you will intertwine the antithesis, that is more important. Intertwining, that even just reflect in one or two line that there is a problem, that this is the part because of which a certain paradox exists, and which will be discussed in the subsequent passages to come. The other part, see, because you see that innovation is always appreciated anywhere, not in essay writing, anywhere in your life, innovation is always appreciated. Now, there is this tendency, particularly after 2015, that showing that there is this, some people start with the essay, in this essay we are going to show you. So you frame the question. See, I'm not saying that framing the question in that way is wrong. What I'm trying to say, see, probably, if you will show everything in the trailer itself, then who will read your essay? You are thinking that it will make the examiner comprehensive or easy to understand, but don't you think that it is a very mechanical approach to write the essay? So how to do this? Even if you are showing that in this essay we are going to show you this, that, just try to frame the question, just try to intrigue the examiner, that if you are writing, or what you can do, that the questions that you will be raising in this part, in this essay we are going to show you, just try to include the question itself in the introduction. Isn't it? Just include the question itself in the introduction, and you will automatically come that, in your introduction will be very reflective, so that examiner will get a certain idea that you are understanding, you do have a command over your language. See, it is not about language, but you do have a command over your content. See, minor mistake, grammatical mistake, I generally don't point out that. Why? Because it is very human to make such mistakes. See, there is no point in discussing those things. What we can discuss, that how to make the introduction, write the introduction in such a way that it will interest the examiner out of it. The second part, interpretation. What is the meaning of interpretation? That how you understood the topic. It's very simple. But you see that a philosophical quote is never simple. Any philosophical quote can have many interpretations. For example, last year there was a question which we asked at the Lukmaan IAS. War is ugly thing. War is ugly thing, but not the ugliest of thing. But not the ugliest of thing. How do you interpret this statement? War is ugly thing, but not the ugliest of thing. Isn't it? The very first part is very clear. And you won't believe that, while evaluating the paper, I found 6 interpretation out of it. 6 interpretation. I can give you the example of 2. That first, war is ugly thing, not the ugliest of thing. Second, in the first, see, war is ugly thing. This was the line of argument which generally people made. Second was that how poverty, racism, gender stereotyping, dehumanizing is the worst things. Okay, but the second interpretation can be war is ugly thing, but not the ugliest of thing. So it generally try to point out the meaning of just war. Just war. War can be just, isn't it? So the just war is the context. Now you see that what is the most fitting context? It will be just war. Right? Just war means, basically there is this philosophical connotation that if you are doing the war, if you are going into the war for self-defense, okay, for preserving your property rights, okay, or for the overall value of the humanity, like responsibility which UN says about. So you see, in that case, just will be a war where the principle of fairness, equality, justice and such other human will be there. Such other human values will be there. That is the meaning of just war. So the most fitting context in this case can be this. But if you wrote this in the first context, that racism is also ugly thing, okay, so you see it is not directly related to the topic. So you see that in the statement itself, there is these 2 contradictions. So we will try to interpret in such a way that it can be all inclusive. It will be all inclusive, all the different interpretations to it. Okay, even if you are not doing it, then we are supposed to develop the perspective. That, how many ways in this topic can be interpreted. For example, the first topic, I believe that nearly 4 to 5 students have written the first topic. Great leader creates more leader, not followers. This was the first topic. Great leader. So you see, the first paradox itself is, the moment we say leaders, the assumption that he will have follower is inherently inbuilt in it. So you see, a leader cannot exist in vacuum. He got to have followers. But what should be the quality of that follower? That is the more important part. Isn't it? Quality of, see, probably, you see, there is this topic, there is this thing called bystander effect. How many of you know that? Bystander effect. This is a psychological word, na? See, probably some riot is going on, or maybe somebody is fighting over a minor trivial issue of which a particular crowd don't have any idea about. So what people will do, they will just stand on the sidelines and won't intervene into it. Isn't it?
The first step towards achieving your dreams is having the right coach. Get the best education with Lukmaan IAS and make your UPSC dreams come true. Download the app now.